11 o'clock, so we'll go live. Oh, hey, hello everybody. It's Gen608. This is the next installment of the Unconditional Surrender stream. I'm Gen608. If you like what you see here, please hit the thumbs up button. If you really like what you see, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notify button, and you'll know you're notified whenever I schedule another stream or I upload another video. This is a solo playthrough of demonstrating what I affectionately call the CUCU strategy, which is cripple the UK and collapse the USSR. This is probably the best defense I've ever had against this particular strategy. So it's been a very interesting turn of events here. Usually I post up videos and stream hex and counter war games like this, Unconditional Surrender in Europe. This is by far the most on my channel. I have done a couple of other games. I'm willing to do other games if people will check me out on Board Game Geek, Dren608 there. And you can look at the list of games I have. If there's one that you'd like to see me start, putting out videos on or streaming, leave me comments here or direct message me in Board Game Geek, and I'll see what I can schedule up. For those 150 some odd subscribers, thank you very much. And we're going to go ahead and get right in this because we just had a big snowfall where I happen to live, and I'm going to have to go out and shovel the driveway. So we're going to go on. There's no way that we don't need to start any new wars for any of us. So we're all just going to skip through that. The Germans, they got lucky and took Viborg, so I don't think I need to give the Finns anything. The Turks are doing well as well. Over here on the Russian border, they took Batum, or Batum, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. They've got a halfway decent defensive line. The Russians have halfway decent defensive line. Neither side's going to go anywhere in the poor weather that we're having, because this is still the Russian winter, the last month of the Russian winter. So the Germans will be at severe, and the Russians will be at poor. The Russians did make a kind of a breakthrough here. They have this guy surrounded, and they've pushed through at Ryazan. So I need to, as the Germans, try to rectify my position here. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that. They did manage to take out one of my panzers that was defending up here. So it makes it very hard on the German line here. I'm going to have to kind of redress it, realign it, so to speak, and hopefully come back when I get fair weather in May, June of 42. The Russians have pulled themselves back up to 32 will with this counteroffensive, so don't know if they'll hold, but they're going to try. They did take back Bologoya up here, and like I said, Ryazan. I'm not really sure what to do with the Russians because this is the last turn that I have true advantage here, and the German infantry here is kind of stuck, and this German infantry is going to probably end up being isolated and at low supply. So they're probably going to get this German infantry, and they may push me all the way back across the Don. As a matter of fact, I may have to go ahead and just retreat behind the Don in order to keep my line semi-sane here. So we're going to see what we're going to do. As far as transferring production points, I really don't see anybody that needs anything. I'm not going to move. The Romanians are kind of like my backstop here. So yeah, I do have to spend a couple of production points over here, because now that we're in poor weather, the British might try to do a surprise invasion. They do have the BEF up here with a convoy that has less than 6 sorties, so they could possibly land at Antwerp and cause me problems there, so I'm going to do something about that. I do have an infantry unit that I built over here last turn, and this probably going to put the Africa Corps in Antwerp, and this infantry will become here. So that's like 3 of my points I'm going to spend on this front as it is. I am trying to mount some sort of a counter-offensive down here. We have severe weather, so it's not likely to go anywhere. So I probably won't do much of anything this turn because the river lines in city and would make me -2, 2 to 1. Yeah, I'm not going to give anybody any points. I don't think I need to do that. So we move along. Nobody has anything to play in the strategic warfare phase on the Eastern Front, so it's their +3 to my +1. This was a lucky attack that the British managed to pull off. I think it was like +3 to +2, and they managed to get a retreat. So they managed to push me out, and that's been affecting the strategic warfare results here. So it's +3 for the Russians, +1 for the Germans, and we'll just see what happens. The Germans did not lose a factory, and the Allies did. I managed to roll 5, and he rolled a 1. So I managed to just squeak out a loss on the Russians, which is bad for the Russians. Okay, and now we're into the West, and the West, since it's +4 against me, I am going to play my Ultra. I want to keep my partisans in case the Germans manage to push me out of Basra. I'm not isolated in Basra right now. The Western Desert Force could retreat to this little peninsula square down here. And if they were to retreat there, I might need the partisans to try and take back Basra. So I'm going to save my partisans marker. But I am going to go ahead and play my Ultra marker because I'm at factory loss 8. I only own 7. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to chip back the British economy to try and get back to where I'm getting more than 10 points a turn. Because that's my limiting factor. I can't really do a lot with the British. I have to pick like one place that I can do like one thing. And then the rest of the production points go to replenishing all the units that I have on the board. So we're going to go ahead and commit to the Ultra to the strategic warfare. And we did get a German lost factory, and we brought the British factories down to 7. Excuse me. So the British are at the same number of factories that they have as factories lost. The Germans are at 2 lost factories, which is where they were before. So next turn they will only have 26. I believe this turn that's... I still was at full this turn, but now next turn in March I'll only have 26 points with the Germans, which could bode ill if they keep chipping away at me like this. Could bode ill for the whole Eastern Front on whether I can actually collapse the Russians or not. So it's getting a little bit harder. The Russians might actually survive this. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure that I can pull it off with the Russians, but I have a better chance if I can get the German air forces and things down. So now I have to do a strategic move. And I was thinking about this, and it's like I need to save my production points for replenishment and whatnot. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to strategically move the Africa army. It's not much of a move, but rather than spend 2 production points, I'm just going to put him into Antwerp to be my garrison. So just have him run up there. And that's going to have to do. The British can also try and launch an attack here at Bergen. They cannot attack at Trondheim. They could go into Bergen. They probably don't want to go into places like here. Don't want to make an opposed landing because they don't have air cover for opposed landing at this point. But they might try to go to Bergen too, so we have to allow for all of that. The British can do a strategic move, but I really don't have one. Everything in England is, we're guarding the southern coast with 3 garrisons, and we're got the BEF in position along with an airplane. We might ship this out over time or like to the Middle East. I'm not sure. It depends on what the Germans do down here in the Middle East. Oh, or it may just stay here as a reserve for England and a threat to Norway. So they don't have one. The Soviets, on the other hand, they only have 20 production points. So the question is do I have a strategic move that makes sense? And quite honestly, anything that's on a rail line that I would want to move, I really don't want to, because they're in good offensive positions right now, and or defensive positions, depending on which way you look at it. So I think I'm going to let that go too. So none there. So the Germans have to fight. They're going to be in severe. The best that they can hope for is to get like a +2 to... he could be as much as +2 himself on this guy here. And I have to figure out a way to redress my line some. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This guy can go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I could get to there. I almost have to give up the forests here. Because I really need to get a German infantry down here to give me a better chance of... So I'd be 3 and halved, and he would be 2. Minimum of a 3. I'd be +3 and halved. I have to get a ridiculously good number there. By his surrounding and eliminating that armored unit, which he did last turn, makes it very hard for me to rescue this infantry unit, which I may just not do at this point. Might be better if I just don't do anything at all. There's an interesting quandary. Okay, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? There's no real, whatever I attack with, it's going to be like the guys plus something. They're all 2s because I'm in severe and they're halved. So even if I get like +3 and halved and I roll a 6, that's only going to be a 5. So I would actually need a 6-1 split in order to flip this guy. And that's not going to affect him in poor because he's going to be able to attack like from here and here with support. And then from here and here, even a flipped guy will add 1. You'll be able to attack this guy twice, probably at like +3 to 0. So this infantry is most likely going to die, the 7th. There's nothing I can do about it. So I could probably move this infantry to there. It'd stay in supply. Then I wouldn't do much of anything else. Yeah, unfortunately, I really can't do a lot here. Loss of that armored unit kind of messes up any kind of defensive line I might try and put together. And I need to save 2 points here. I have 4 airplanes, so 12 and 2 is 14. And I've got a guy to flip up, so that's 15. So out of the 28 I have, I can only spend 13 to move at most. We are in severe down here, so it would be 1, 2, 3, minus 2. It'd be +1 halved to +1 halved. So not very good odds. Could move the Italian out and become +2. But that would leave me very vulnerable to him just counterattacking and knocking the Turks out and making space, which I really don't want to give him space. Not the thing I want to do here. So I'm thinking we're just going to go ahead and do this. Since no airplanes or anything can make a difference here in the severe, we're going to go ahead and try and see if we get lucky. So we're going to have we're going to assault here. Hello. Declare assault there. Just go ahead and get started here. So right now I am +1 to his +1. If you look at the combat results table, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 and 6 chance of me actually moving him. And he cannot get an AA on me, so it's not going to hurt me to try. And, 5 and 6, not even a 1 in 6 chance of making this work. So we'll confirm, and we'll commit. And no effect, of course. We both rolled 1s. So that didn't work at all. I didn't think it would. So it looks like what I need to do is I need to get somebody into this hex here. I could tack it +3 to maximum +2 and halved. To try and save the infantry. So I think I'm going to do that. I don't think I'm really going to switch my line out. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to switch my line out here. Again, now I could put the Yugoslav in here. That would give me +2, 3, 4 and halved. Which gives me a better chance of getting that 5, but he still needs to roll 1 if he puts a tank and an airplane in there. Which he probably will do. Is from the Soviets, I really want to hold this sort of bubble line here and get rid of this infantry this turn. Or I could just put a German there. Because this guy's, the 9th is in danger of getting himself eliminated as well because he doesn't have retreat routes. I could go 4 to here. I think I need to try and rescue the 7th. If I put the Yugoslav there, then I've got to put this German in this spot here. Yeah, I think we're going to have to do it this way. Got to give myself the best chances of doing this. So I'm going to go here. Call that assault. And then, come on. The 9th will also assault. Okay. Now the Germans are going to go ahead and throw in ground support. And then this is the reason why I'm throwing in the airplane with the Germans is because in case the Russians send their aircraft, I would at least fight an air battle, but I won't affect the odds because ground support won't work. But I can fly so that if he flies his airplane, I might be able to do 2 sorties on him because I can't touch him when he's behind this little dotted line, the restricted USSR. I can't airstrike him back there. So if he comes out, I have a chance of getting 2 sorties on him in the air combat, which is why I'm throwing the airplane in, because I'm going to have a lot of production points and not worry about what I have to supply and so on, and do replenishments on. So, yeah, that's the attack. Now, the Russians need to think about this. If they really want to kill the 7th, they probably should commit everything so that they be +2 to the +4, because it's +4 and halved. And if I'm +2, the minimum I'm going to get is a 3. And if I get a 3, even if he rolls, he has to roll a 5 or a 6 in order to get me. So his he has a 1/3 chance of getting the number he needs, and I have a 1 in 6 chance of getting the number that he needs me to get because I have to get a 1. So what is that? 2 in 6 times 1 in 6 is 2 in 36, a 1 in 18 chance. And since I'm concentrating on taking this guy out, I think we're going to go ahead and throw the tank, and we're going to throw the airplane. We're going to try to hold the hex. And then we're both going to commit, so there's going to be an air combat. So I'm a 0 to his -6, but I'm halved. So I need to get like a 5 or a 6. Which I did not get. I rolled a 1, so it doesn't matter. I only did 1 to him. And then I rolled a 1 for the ground combat, so no effect. So that didn't work. All right. Now we have to move this infantry unit because of this over here. This guy, if I don't move this German infantry here, let's move him here. Come on, move. I have to move the German infantry there. It's not really a reason to go ahead and attack him. I mean, I would flip him, but that doesn't really affect whatever he's going to be doing. And of course, my Axis ground support was delayed 6 turns, so that was probably not a good thing to do in the long term. Because it means I don't have it to use with the Turks. Let's go check the turn track. I get a submarines here. My surprise attack marker in April. I don't see a ground support again until May, so I might have some problems with my miners holding positions on the Eastern Front. So now this guy's in supply because he goes through the Yugoslav back to this city and then off on rail. Everyone else is in supply for this turn. Do I go ahead and take the shot? I don't think the Russians are going to throw anything on this, so I would just be able to flip him. But then I don't really have... I'm +1 and halved. Well, I'm German, so I'll go ahead and do it. See if I can get him to use up assets, and he's like, no, I'm not. That infantry unit's not important. I can save a point to bring him back up. The Russians only have 1 guy to build, so that, you know, they're not worried about it. So, confirm, and we commit, and I've just stopped. Okay. So now I've kept myself in supply. This guy's the next vulnerable one that he might be able to take out in a poor weather turn because he can't retreat. And he can most likely will be able to take this guy out because he's going to be at low supply and isolated, so he's going to have all sorts of pluses and be able to get rid of the 7th. Which I think is what the Russians are really going to concentrate on trying to do. Get rid of another German ground unit. And this guy is not going to be able to get anywhere even in March, so I may have a chance to get rid of him as well. Yeah, that looks like the best move I can do for the Germans. I still have 25 points left. One thing I do want to do, even though it's horrible odds for me, I don't care. I am going to go after this airplane. More so that he can't use it in any kind of attacks to the south. Like, it does take down my airstrikes, but right now it's more important to make him not be able to use it than me saving my sorties at this point. Okay. And then I think I'm done. Don't really have any shenanigans I need to do in Italy. I can go ahead and move this infantry unit up to where it's useful for any invasions. 2, 3, 4, 5. So it would have to be right behind Le Havre. Right. So put them right behind Le Havre. They'll move. That's what we'll do. And I'm pretty much done. That's it for the Germans. They don't really have a lot to do. I mean, I could go 0 to 0 up here, but I just don't see a point to it at this juncture. I hold Viborg and I wait for where I'm not halved when I'm doing an attack, because that's part of Russia. So I might try and do something up there in March or something, but not now. When I get poor weather and I can start using my aircraft again, that might make a difference. Unfortunately, this aircraft's going to be delayed getting back to the Eastern Front because I really need to take this stuff out down here. Now, right now, he does not have an airplane on this guy. I could fly my airplane down here and try and bang on him in severe weather, but there's really no point because the Americans have unlimited stuff. So I think I want to be at 0, so when I come down here, I'll be +1 to his aircraft's +1. And we'll just work on it that way. Yeah, I'm done. That's it. Not much happened with the Eastern Front. The Russians can probably push me back. They'll probably push me back here. Probably eliminate this. They might even get this guy flipped. But since he's going to be in full supply, I think I'll be okay. I think I'm going to survive the Russian winter with only losing 1 city and maybe 2 units. The loss of the armor was very unfortunate for the Germans. Okay, so we supply all with no convoys. Supply all with no convoys. Give me the box back. This guy has to go to no supply. This is the 7th Army, which is right here, surrounded by the Russians. So he's going to go into no supply and be designated as low. He has to go into Helsinki. I want him supplied and him supplied. He can't invade here, so I can leave him at limited supply. This guy's going to go through. He doesn't have an invasion set up for this guy, so he can stay. Low supply, and then that's 2s across the board, which is where I want to be. So we'll supply all. And now it's the West. Now the West can try and do the same thing. They could move this guy up and have 1 -1 for the river, which would be 0 +1. I could be +1 to 0 and try to force a retreat, but then what do I do as far as taking the hacks? It's not a really good thing. The Germans have covered free invasions unless I want to spend my surprise attack marker and go into Bergen. You might think that's the good thing to do, but I don't think it is, because the surprise attack marker in being means that I always have the threat of like shifting a fleet and a convoy to Malta and having this thing invade somewhere in the Mediterranean just to annoy the Italians, like take a factory from them at Tripoli, or land up here around Taranto or whatever. So they have to keep a garrison group here. They have to keep this garrison Tripoli and keep it in supply so that I don't have a chance to take it. So it seems like it's better if I just hang on to the surprise attack marker for now. Maybe in fair weather I might try and do something if I think I can, ship stuff in. The other question that I have to answer for myself is, how hard am I going to fight for Basra? Because the Germans have a surprise attack marker on the way with an airdrop marker. If I were to take the BEF out of England this turn, you might see a 40 could possibly see the Germans trying to pull off a quick sea line just disrupt the British economy and stuff, make them spend what few points they have, containing a unit or two here in southern England. Right now they have home fleet is at full. They don't have a great convoy. Med fleet's almost at full, so probably not a good idea. Force H is not a factor. That convoy's at 6. So I don't know. I could. I do have a second airplane up here. So I could try to run myself in poor weather into an off-map box. See, Eastern North America. Let's figure this out. If you're in the North Atlantic, it would be 3, 6, 9, 10 into C Zone 22. So you could go into C Zone 22 and like reinforce Kuwait or something in the future. From the North Atlantic, I can not invade Norway because it's 127 and 16. So I still would threaten an invasion of Brest. I still would threaten like an invasion into French North Africa or moving directly into Gibraltar if I think Russia's going to fall. And I could also run to the Middle East. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to take... Does he have his... He does have his surface action marker, so I'm going to go ahead and run home fleet and... Oh, no, I don't want to do that. I think I'm going to go ahead and position... That's going to leave me 8, and I'm going to need to do 6. Well, I want to do 6 and 4, don't I? I want to do, like, convoy in the Middle East. What's my, Is my aircraft at full in the Middle East? I can't remember. Is my aircraft full in the Middle East? Because I don't need to spend 3 there. My aircraft's at full. So I'm going to have to spend 3 here. This is something I could do some shenanigans, but I think keeping... Oh, that's what I was going to do. We're going to change the location of the first RAF. We're going to put it here. Reason being is because then the American convoy can supply 2. They supply 2 and they come back 2, so they're fine. So that's what I needed to do there. Now I can go ahead and put this... What I really want to do, I want to get this convoy down another... So I've got 3, 6, and then 4 for the Med fleet. So maybe I think I have to wait a turn, or do I need to pre-position now? So I only get 3, 6... I only get 2 guys that I can bring back. I can't bring back the fleet. No, I think I need to just stay where I'm at. So 1, 3, 6, 9. I can get all the way to the Western Indian Ocean from where I'm at. I'd prefer to be in the North Atlantic, so I have options, but I think this is... I think I need to stay here just to be able to get Med Fleet down to 0. And then... yeah, I think I have to do it that way. I'm going to just not do anything with the British. I just don't see a good thing to do here. Well, I could go 3, 6. Then I don't have anybody here to interrupt his invasion if he tries to do it. What's this airplane going to be at? This airplane's going to be at 0. His convoy is going to be at 4, though, so it's not going to be a really good invasion. Yeah, we're going to do it now before he gets his convoy. So we're going to naval transport, and we're going to go ahead and escort with just the airplane. Let go. Just the airplane. We're going to go here, here. That's where we're going to go. Now the Germans need to think about this, because they could intercept with their surface action. If I hit him, he's going to be forced back onto the coast here. I'm not going to have a viable threat because my convoy is so low. And I'm going to need to have that convoy be close to zero or zero in order for me to do a shift, an invasion, and still have enough sorties to possibly get through supply blockade. And he would be -6 plus 2, he'd be -4, so he couldn't do anything to me. I'd be a -1. But it would take me 2 sorties to get through him. I think I'm going to let him go. And he's going to move to there. And then that's where he's going to end his turn. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave Home Fleet here to guard, and I'm going to take Med Fleet out of Belfast. I'm going to move it into here. And that's going to be my move. All right, let's pass. We're not going to eliminate anything at this point. I could get rid of the convoy in Gibraltar if I really wanted to and just rebuild it in the future, but right now don't see a way to rebuild it. So we're going to run the Force H for supply. And no, we're not going to intercept that. Confirm. So Force H gets himself into supply. Come on. Thank you. All right. And all the guys without convoys. So you see the American convoy goes up 2 and the British convoy only goes up 1, so I can start rebuilding this convoy a bit. Yeah, let's supply all. Got to keep everybody down there in supply because I got to replenish this airplane and this convoy. It's going to be my 3-6. Actually, I'm going to do the one in North America, I think. All right, so now we go to the Soviets. Soviets have some attacks to pull off. Now I have to think about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could try to bust through the Yugoslavs. Because if I can get through the Yugoslavs, then I have this guy isolated and this guy isolated with an attack. I do have one guy to build. So I could shift 1, 2, 3. Could attack with a tank. And 2 guys, so that would be 2, 3, 4, 5, and an airplane is 6. That would be +6. +6 to 0, and then -1, so +5 to 0. But then I might have to attack him a second time. Okay. Well, so one of the things that I talked about last time is I'm going to take this airplane that's in Russia, the Russia box, and I'm just going to move it to this space up here. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and attack. Yeah, we're just going to try and get rid of this infantry unit first. So he's going to attack. He's going to attack. Let's see if this works. We're actually going to move this guy to here. Attack. We're going to take the guy out of... We're going to build the guy back in Moscow. We're going to leave the fort. Go here. I'm not going to do any assaults there. And then we're going to move the guy in Stalingrad's probably going to stay where he's at. Alright, so we're going to attack here. We're going to do this. Right now we're +3 to his 0. If I throw 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I throw in the 4th air. And I'm going to throw in 1 tank. So now I'm +5 to 0. So on the combat results table, I'm guaranteed of getting at least a retreat, and I might even get either a DE or a DD, both of the same. So I have a really good chance of just getting rid of that with 1 attack at +5 to 0. So we're going to do that. We're going to confirm. We're going to commit. And we got a DE, so we just blew him up completely. I really don't think I want to take the hacks. I want to be able to retreat people, so I'm done. And now this gives me a chance to possibly... if I want to try and go get the Yugoslav... I could get the Yugoslav at 1, 2, 3, +2 to 0, which means I might get him to retreat. But then do I really want to stick in Russian infantry out there and possibly lose a lot of willpower? Probably not. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to see how this attack goes down here. Okay, hang on a second. I gotta stop and think here. Let's just undo this. Alright, well, I have 3, 6, 9, 12 in airplanes. I could probably get by with 9 in airplanes. And 10. So I've got 10 to build. Or 9. It'd be 13 at most. And then I could not do an airplane if I want to move a couple of other guys. Where would I build him? I got to think of where I'm going to build my my next infantry unit, because I have 2 shocks committed to the northern front. I have 2 shocks committed to the southern, in front of Stalingrad. So would I put an infantry to the south or to the north? I'd have to attack with 3. Well, if I attack with 3 and it doesn't push him, then I can move out of Ryazan into Moscow and just say I'm done. Maybe I'll forego an airplane here. I'm not going to get much better odds than this to try and take this guy out, because he's 1 and he adds 2, 3, 4, and this guy adds 1. So currently I would be +3 and he's +2 and halved. I'm trying to get a retreat here. I could throw a tank in to make it +4. I think I'm just going to go with the +3 to +2. Save my other tank marker for up here. Am I really going to go after the Yugoslav? I don't think I'm going to go after the Yugoslav. We're going to see if this works. See if we can get him to retreat. Let's confirm, commit. I did force a retreat, so that's cool. We'll move forward. So now we're threatening now to pull the same shenanigans on this armored unit that we did on this infantry, trying to get him sort of surrounded by zones of control, which is going to force him to retreat in March, because he'll still only be able to do assaults. Now I could get greedy. I'm at 13, and I know I have right now that would be the guy to build in the 4 airplanes, which I could do, but then this guy here can't retreat, so he could do a couple assaults to try and flip him and kill him. And every Russian army lost is a will point at this point. So we're trying to avoid that. Yeah, we're trying to avoid that. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here. I'm going to forego one of my airplanes. I'm going to move him back into Moscow. That gives me retreat routes. Enter the fort. So that gives me retreat routes in the poor weather to Ryazan. And then I'll have a 4, I have a 4, 3, maybe a 3 in the north, so I can fly out here and do something in the woods or something. Doing the one in the south means the Germans will keep committing to taking this one out, which is a good thing. Yeah, I think I'm done with the Russians. Yep, the Russians are all done. So this is only taking me 45 minutes to do this. Oh, wonderful. Skip this, confirm. I'll do this, see if I have anybody out of supply. Don't think I do. No, I do not. Okay. So we're to the Germans. The Italians obviously just replenish. There are 2 convoys. The Germans have 24. So first thing first, we want to get, so 369, 369. That's 18 and 19. And I have 2 to spend on the armor, so yeah, I can do it all. So he's going to come back, he's going to come down, he's going to come down, so I can keep those in supply. He's going to come down, he's going to come down, he's going to come down. And we're going to just go ahead and flip him so we don't have to worry about it. And that leaves me with 5, so I have more than enough to build my armored unit back over in Königsberg. I'm sure I'm going to build him in Königsberg. I'm going to build him in Königsberg? 1, 2, Prague, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rail him up in April and we'll be ready for May. Okay, so we are done with the German replacements. The British, okay, the easy one, Americans, obviously. Now the British can only do 2 because they have 8 points. And I was thinking I'm going to leave this one go up to 6. And I was going to go do, where am I? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go get this convoy down. And I'm going to get this med fleet down. So that these guys are actually, you know, fairly defensive if they actually have to move him to the Middle East, which is what I'm thinking I may need to do. Yeah, only having 10 production points makes it really hard to do anything with the British. That's the whole first part of the CUCU campaign, is cripple the British, cripple the UK. Now the Soviets only have 12, and they do want to build. Do I want to build this infantry unit? Let's go look at the Soviet front again. Soviet front is fairly solid. So I'm thinking I want to save the infantry unit in case he breaks through someplace, so that I can like move a unit and still replenish with an infantry unit somewhere. So I actually think I'm going to forego building the infantry, and I'm going to do all 4 of my airplanes. Yeah, that sounds like a deal. Get all my airplanes up. So I got 3 of them in a safe place, and 1 of them is drawing German air to keep it suppressed. So that's helping, but he's got a full German air and a full Italian air, and soon he's going to have another full German air. So he's going to have 3 German air and an Italian. So my aircraft sitting in the safe places in restricted USSR are a good thing. They do defend as far, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He can defend as far south as here, where the 21st is. And then as far east as here. They can't help in Moscow or anything like that, but they can kind of control a bubble right in here, like as far as Yaroslav and Ryazan, and sort of a little bubble line there. So that seems like a good idea. The airplane here is stationed so that it can help Stalingrad, which forces him to have to take care of it. And it also is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, can help as far as south as Tiflis. So yeah, we're trying to survive with the Russians. I don't know if it's going to work or not. 32 is better than where I was at, which was 28, but it's still not the greatest. And mobilization for the Germans, so we're going to go back to Germany. I think it was Posen was the better place to put the armor, because he's got to go back to the southern open area. That's where we're going to build him. The Russians don't have any points to build with, so they're done. And we're all done. So the Russian winter ends. Yay. Let's go see what the weather is. We have fair in the Med. Okay, so the Germans can try and get through the British down there. Not going to be easy. And it's severe, so I don't have to worry about invasions in Norway, and I don't have to worry about invasions, and it's going to stay severe for both of us in Russia. Okay. Well, like I said, I had a bit of a snowstorm here where I live today, so I'm going to need to go deal with the snow. I think we're going to stay here because I need to think about how to deal with the Middle East. This is going to be a short stream. I am trying to cut down my time on these streams so that it's more watchable by people. I know a lot of my initial streams were like 2 hours long, and same thing happens with my role-playing game, computer role-playing game stream on Bard's Tale. They tend to run up to 2 hours, probably because I yak too much. But this was a relatively fast turn. The Russians did do pretty good. I mean, they've knocked out 2 German armies. They've taken 2 cities. Not bad for the Russian winter. Germans overextended themselves a bit. I probably should have stopped. Instead of being out in this bulge where I was out here, I probably should have just been at like Ryazan and just straight down like this to the rivers and just waited for 42. And used part of the Don and maybe just in front of the Don to, slow down the Russian winter offensive. Because he was relatively far away from me. But, you don't. It was just so much of a chance to take an extra city, because I got these 2 cities, and it was Bologoya, and it was like, okay, I've got him at 28, I've got him on the ropes. Now he's back up to 32, and I'm struggling to maintain my line here. It's going to be severe, so we're all going to get retreats, but I can see him doing a couple of, just doing some attacks at this +2 since we're both halved. If he gets a 6-1 split, he gets me to flip, and then I go down. It is going to allow the Russians to reset their nicely. This armored unit's going to have to withdraw. He's not going to have a choice. And the other armored unit is coming, but won't be here for a while. So we're going to cut this here. I'm going to go ahead and save this game if I can. One thing I have found in when I'm playing solo and training mode here, you see my clock says I'm out of time. If you don't finish a solo game, even in training mode, if you don't finish it like in a couple of weeks, it says, okay, you haven't made a move. I'm gonna free up server space and kick this game off. The reason being is because since I'm making the moves for both sides, I never actually, quote, complete a turn, which I think is silly because in solo, if I've done all sides turns, you should consider it I've completed a turn and start my timer over. But it doesn't do that in solo because it doesn't have two players to bounce between. So it thinks I'm running out of time, and at some point it's going to say, hey, you haven't made a move in like forever, even though I've been making moves all the time. And so I'm going to just say this game must have been abandoned. So I'm having to save the game after every turn now, just to make sure that I can reload it. I may, the next time that it happens, I will probably take part of the beginning of stream to show you how to do that, how to reload a game that you've saved. It is something you have to, when you reload it, you won't get, if you're playing other players, you can't like save it and reload it and have other people join you. But it is nice if you're in a strange situation, like if I'm in this situation here and I want to try things out, I can save the game, I start a new game, load it, and then just try things out solo to see what looks like it's the best thing to do to try and actually do in the game. So you can use it sort of as a little bit of a strategy tool if you want. Of course, the random numbers will be different every game that you're playing, so it's not a surefire thing. But you can see like, well, if I move over here, it's like, oh, there's this huge hole. I don't want to do that kind of thing. So it does help a little bit. And next time we will see if the Germans can engineer some kind of a way to take back Basra, because the British are set up right now to be able to pull back, bring the BEF to the south, and get this garrison out of here and put a real army back here. So it might be hard for me to take both, and then they could try to mount the same counterattack in the summer of '42. We'll see if the Germans and the Italians can push them out of Basra. That'll be an interesting thing to do next turn. Okay, so like I said, I am Dren 608. I should probably, what am I doing? I should probably go this way so that we can see the words. Yes. Go like this. There we go. So I'm Dren 608. This is my stream of the CUCU stratagem. I don't know how to describe it. It's sort of a method of trying to maximize the chances for German survival to the end of 1945. It stands for Cripple UK Collapse USSR. I've done pretty good on crippling the UK as far as production points go, but they managed to get back Basra, so now there's the collapsing the USSR is not such a sure thing because strategic warfare is going to start telling on me. I'm already down a factory with the Germans going into 1942, and I might be down even more by the time I actually get to fair weather, which will make it harder for me to take out the Soviets. So it's all a series of checks and balances. So it's something you really, the main event game in Unconditional Surrender is always so variable that it is by far my favorite part of it, because you'll end up with different allies on your side. You'll end up with different situations like this. This is the best I've ever seen. It's the best I've ever done against this particular strategy, is in hanging on to Basra and Kuwait. So, yeah, this is, for me, this is an interesting thing to go down. Hopefully, I will be able to keep doing these streams. If you do like the streams, please hit the thumbs up button. Helps motivate me to keep, to schedule up and do another one. If you like what you're seeing, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notify button. Then you'll know when I'm going to schedule the next stream or if I'm going to upload a video. We are also playing through this same stratagem against an opponent of mine. We're playing it on the Vasta module, and I post up videos on that as well. So you can find that on my channel. And I'm also streaming a computer role-playing game called The Bard's Tale. It's been remastered, and it used to be in 3 or 4 parts, and they have like the first 3 parts are all in the same package off of Steam, and it makes they've remastered it to a point where it's like you can save anywhere in the game, so you don't have to run back to like a save point. It's like, no, it'll just save it here and then reload it at that point when you reload that game. And it has a lot of point and click interface, which the original game back in the late 80s, early 90s, we didn't have such a mouse user interface friendly. So you had to remember all the function keys and the letter keys to make everything happen. You had to type out like 4-letter codes for spells and things like that. So it was much harder to play it back in the day, but now it's a lot easier with point and clicks. So it's far more fun to do that. Same thing kind of applies here. It's the fact that we can just point and click, and then we can undo if we don't like that move. It's kind of nice. Harder to do that when you're playing it on paper, on the paper map with the cardboard counters, because you got to remember where the guy started from. Here, the game remembers where the guy started from. All right. So anyway, until we meet again, stay safe. Bye-bye.